Let's recap last night's loss to the Hawks. And is Chet winning the race for the Roy over Wembanyama?
You are Locked On Spurs, your daily San Antonio Spurs podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, this is Hot Rod.
And I'm RC from the Cybertron Spurs.
And you're listening to Locked On Spurs with Jeff Garcia.
Welcome back to Locked On Spurs. We're here on the Locked On NBA Network. I'm your host, Jeff Garcia, Spurs writer for Ken's 5 San Antonio. Happy Friday, TGIF, everybody. Hope everybody's having a great end of the work week, and you're ready for the weekend. Can't wait to see and hear all the things y'all are going to do this weekend. Just stay out of trouble. Just please no drama. We don't want any drama. Hey, this episode is brought to you by Game Time. You want to go to gametime.co right now. Download the game app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. So what are we talking about today? By the way, you guys are the everydayers, so appreciate y'all being the everydayer that you are. We're going to look back at last night's loss to the Hawks. I know they got the Pelicans tonight, but I want to look back and look at three things that stood out for me in that loss. There were some positive stuff. We'll get to that. Up next, though, we will have Jack Thompson, formerly of the San Antonio Sports Star. We're going to discuss the race for the Roy, Rookie of the Year, Chet Wemby. Chet is actually overtaking Wemby in some odds makers websites. We'll discuss that and catch you up with some Spurs news and notes. And that's all coming up next right here on Locked On Spurs. So about last night, what a heartbreaker. My goodness, those kids, they fought tooth and nail to the bitter end versus Atlanta. So DeJounte Murray got to come back home and get a win over his former squad. But nevertheless, the good guys, they lost 137-135. Yeah, it was that close. But you hear the final score. You give up 137 points. They ain't going to cut it. It's 13 losses in a row now. Spurs got the Pelicans tonight. Good luck to them. And we'll see how that pans out. Before we get into some stuff that stands out to me, Devin Vassell had 25 points. Keldon Johnson added 22. And Sohan and Wembanyama. So let's dive into it. First takeaway, Wembanyama, again, with another solid performance. You know, he had 3 games in a row of 22 points. Last night versus Atlanta, 21. That's been his lowest in the last 4 games. 21 points, 2 assists, 12 rebounds to lead the team. And what I liked about it was he was being very assertive. You're slowly but surely seeing him be a lot more assertive, looking for his shot, and just really establish himself early. You saw that versus Atlanta. He came out firing. I tweeted, and nobody should be surprised here by the nerd reference there. He like freaking Omega Supreme from the Transformers, just that big, tall guy out there, that big one, and just firing all cylinders, firing all weapons. That's what he looked like. Dunking, hitting the mid-range, going for the 3, driving, not settling for that 3. Really liked him. He's coming to his own. We got to watch out, though. He has a hip injury. Popovich did say after last night's game that it's a possibility Wemby may sit out tonight versus the Pelicans. Hopefully he doesn't. Spurs need all hands on deck to snap this losing skid. But if he does, the Spurs, they're going to spur and be very cautious. So my first takeaway, Wemby is looking great. Another great outing. It's a shame that came out in a loss. Second takeaway, Sohan. He had perhaps one of his best nights in his young NBA career. After the game, Popovich complimented Jeremy, saying, again, that is just one of his better nights since being in the league. 33.6 assists versus the Hawks. Yeah, and then, just for him to have the to drive for that last second that could have been like a game-tying forced overtime. Unfortunately, the call didn't go against him. Charge on him. Trey Young picked up that charge for the Hawks, and, well, that was it. But you got to wonder, is he turning that corner at the point guard spot? I don't know. I think it's still out there. The jury's out. He did have 5 turnovers, so perhaps he still needs more fine-tuning. But he's knocking down the 3. He scored in over 30 points at Atlanta. Hopefully that continues, especially tonight if Wembanyama has a scratch. And so he can duplicate that game. Hopefully this will boost his confidence. He's been very vocal about, he's going through it and trying to learn the point guard spot. Hopefully he's slowly maybe turning the curve. Maybe. We'll see tonight versus the Pelicans. And finally, I think we might have to have a bonus thing because it was just one to pick up. But hey, at least they were competitive, right? They were competitive to the end. And yes, they blew a lead, but they were able to claw back and give Atlanta some sweats towards the end. So they didn't roll and die. They didn't get blown out. They didn't get curb stomped, as we've been seeing throughout these 13 losses. It was competitive. They came out strong. Matter of fact, they scored 39 points in the third period. The third period has been one of their lowest scoring periods this season. Problem was they allowed 39 points by Atlanta. It was kind of a wash. But hey, if you're looking for incremental growth, this was one of them. They actually scored over 30 points in that third period. Fortunately, it was a loss, though. But yeah, I mean, you get a lot of highlights or like just points to bring out in the loss. You had Devin Vassell, 25 points. Keldon Johnson, 22 points. Julian Champagny, he found his touch. He had 15 points. So there were a lot of positives. Hopefully, they'll start coming around. But those are my three takeaways from the Spurs loss last night to the Hawks. The night they got the Pelicans. And usually I'll give a quick preview. But unfortunately, we don't have too much time on these episodes. But just a quick thing to look out for tonight versus the Pels. By the way, they'll be in their city edition of jerseys tonight. I know, winless in them. But the Spurs are on the second game of a back-to-back. They're 0-4 overall in back-to-back games. First game and second game. And they lost 4 straight against the Pelicans heading into tonight's game. So hopefully history doesn't repeat itself. When we get back, we're going to be talking to Jack Thompson, formerly of the San Antonio Sports Star. We're going to be looking at the race for the Roy, Chet versus Wemby, and then catch you up with some Spurs news and notes right here on Locked On Spurs.
Hey, this is Chris Sabat, and you're listening to Locked On Spurs with Jeff Garcia.
Hey, I want to talk about FanDuel. As the weather gets colder, the NFL offers stay hot on FanDuel. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any $5 money line bet. That is a winning $5 money line bet. That's $150 if your team wins. So you've been thinking about joining FanDuel. There's no better time to get on the action than right now. The app is so easy to use. It's a wide range of betting options that include spreads, player props, over and unders, so much more. You're going to have fun with the FanDuel app. That's where you got to go get it right now. Go to FanDuel.com/lockedon and get the NBA season going. Keep on going with the NFL season. It's all ready to go for you at FanDuel. You'll have fun. I have fun on it. You'll have fun on it. Check out those futures. Check out those. Just player props, everything. You want to go to FanDuel.com/lockedon right now. FanDuel, an official partner of the NFL.
Hey everybody, this is Nathan Ray Clark from Criminal Minds and Modern Family, and you are listening to Locked On Spurs, hosted by Victor Wembanyama's new best friend, Jeff Garcia.
And as promised, look who I'm joined by, Mr. Jack Thompson himself, formerly with San Antonio Sports Star. By the way, everybody, that is not a Knicks t-shirt he's wearing. I got thrown off. I really thought it was a Knicks t-shirt.
Okay.
Jack, you gave me a heart attack.
Not a Knicks fan. I have some Knicks gear because I went to a game in the Garden.
Yeah.
But I definitely not a Knicks fan.
Make sure to follow him on X at Jack_Thompson33. By the way, speaking of the Knicks, imagine Brunson on this squad with Wemby, and there's that point guard solution right there.
A dream come true. Literally a dream come true.
Yeah, by the way, everybody, we're not going to be talking about the point guard position. I think that's getting beaten over the head so much, though. But we are talking about, and the reason why Jack's here with us right now is because of the chase for the Roy Rookie of the Year award. Yesterday, there was an article on KENS5.com/Spurs about that. And look, Jack, heading into the new season, preseason, you go to every major Vegas oddsmaker website, Wemby, hands down, the winner of the Roy. From Bovada to DraftKings to FanDuel, the list goes on and on. Everybody had no doubt about it, slam dunk Wemby. Now we're here in November, and of the 5 major online odds makers, 3 of them are now saying it's Chet. 2 still say it's Wemby, but the point is that Chet is overtaking, at least right now, the Vegas odds for winning that Roy Award. Jack, you are the guest, so you get first crack at this. Should we be surprised? Is this just the mere fact that it's just November? We shouldn't really care about this? Or is this something that Spurs fans should be watching at because of this race might be a little closer than we thought?
It definitely is still, very early in the season. But I think the only reason, well, there's two reasons really why, Chet might be overtaking Wemby. One, is he really a rookie? I mean,
Yeah.
it's the dude's second year in the NBA. He's had a full year to learn the system, to get his body more right, to work on his game, all that
Exactly.
sort of stuff that comes with actually being in the league for a year. And second, the only other reason I could see is he's had a couple more, big scoring outburst games, but his play has been a little more conducive to
Yeah.
winning. I mean, the Thunder have been on a roll, but a lot of that is, all NBA guard Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. But for me, it's got to really only be because they're winning games. I mean, if we were winning games, there's no way Chet would be over Wemby because Wemby leads Chet, and literally, you name the statistical category,
Exactly.
Chet is behind Wemby in it. Points, rebounds, steals, blocks, literally everything except for probably 3-point shooting percentage. Wemby is above Chet. So the only reason I can think of is they're winning games and we're not. That's got to be it.
Well, head to head already, Wemby is down 0-1 to Chet's Thunder's team. Now, you're right. It's a different roster for OKC. They got a legit all-star, SGA, he's on board. Spurs, I don't think they have an all-star. I don't think they have an all-star on their roster.
No.
Yeah. And second of all, too, you look at the numbers. Yeah, you hit it on the head. Wemby is leading Chet in the major stats. So as of this recording, Holmgren is averaging about 17.9 points per game, 8 rebounds, 2.7 assists, 2.2 blocks. While Wemby, I got it right here, 19.2 points, 5.5 rebounds, 2.6 blocks, 2.6 assists and 2.6 blocks. There we go. Also, too, he recently made history, recording 6 steals, and he had double-figure scoring. He joined David Robinson in that statistical anomaly. So way to go, Wemby. But, it's just going to really suck, Jack, if it comes – and it shouldn't. But why does it feel like it is going to come down to the final Spurs Thunder record? I don't think it should. You think perhaps the Spurs record ultimately is going to doom Wemby in this race for the Roy?
I mean, potentially it's looking like it might. I mean, while it's sort of like the James Harden effect, that is kind of how I look at it. James Harden, insane numbers, but couldn't get it done. That's kind of where Wemby is falling into it right now, putting up better, like you just said, better numbers in every category, but just not turning that into wins. So like I said previously, the only thing that could be, keeping Chet above Wemby is that win-loss column. So hopefully, I agree with you. It absolutely should not come down to that. But it's looking like at this point, if the Spurs can't turn some games into some W's, that he could, fall into that second category.
I mean, look, I think he'll say the canned answer if somebody were to ask him, Chet is leading you in the Rookie of the Year race award according to Vegas oddsmaker. Probably be the canned answer. I'm not worried about that. I want to get W's. But you got to think with that hype behind him. And by the way, speaking of the hype, Jack, is it just me or is this hype kind of cooled down? Why does it feel like it's been less and less about Wemby? Remember preseason, early NBA season, draft night, it was all about him.
Yeah.
And it's kind of gotten quiet. Again, do you think that's a byproduct of the Spurs record?
Yeah, it's absolutely a byproduct of the Spurs record. I mean, I was at, game number 1, packed house, not a seat to be had. And now you watch them on TV and you see empty seats all around the arena. Yeah. We had a, Cyber Monday sale where we were selling half off tickets just to try and get some butts and some seats. So, yeah, the hype train has certainly cooled off a bit. I mean, we put a lot of pressure and a lot of, our sorrows onto this kid that hopefully he could instantly turn it around. Yeah. A lot of us, myself included, were trying to temper some expectations out there that this isn't the last piece of the rebuild. This is the biggest piece, the most major piece.
Yeah.
But the rebuild still continues, and it's going to continue, probably after this season, probably after next season. Like, it's going to continue to be a process that we have to, work through and build, step by step at a time, brick by brick. So, yeah, the hype has definitely fallen back to earth with, a bunch of W's or a bunch of L's back to back to back. So,
and it's not even that the L's are competitive L's. They're just getting smoked. I mean, it's bad. I mean, maybe it's kind of lessened in the last couple of games, but never for ultimately most of the L's on the Spurs column, they're just obliterated. I think at last check during the 12-game losing skid, they were losing by an average of 15.7. So, I thought it'd be larger, but the fact that mattered.
If you would have had me guessed, I would have guessed larger than 15.
No, I was a little stunned by that, but they're still losing by double figures, and then they just look like they're getting just their soul sucked out of them. Like any team that just steps to them and bucks up a bit, they like, whoa, what's going on? And not just me saying that. Chetty Osman said that recently, that the team does indeed panic in those situations. Teams are coming back, hanging on to a lead, but ultimately, it's going to suck if the Spurs record does impact Wemby's chances at Roy, but should anybody really be surprised if Chet does win it over Wemby? Do you think that will be a failure on Wemby or a reflection on the Spurs roster?
I think it's a double-edged sword there. Like I said before, Wemby probably should be favored in it. He's had a year in the league. He knows his teammates. They know each other. They've practiced.
You're talking about Chet, right?
Or Chet, sorry. Yeah. Chet has had a year in the league. Like, he's been around the guys. They have continuity. They had a whole year of, practice and getting to know each other and him getting his body right and all this stuff that Wemby is just on the cusp of doing. Like, so I think Chet probably should have been favored out the get-go, but if it does fall that way, I think it falls, on the Spurs. I mean, we've seen how much better the numbers are just outright when it's Trey manning the helm. Like, the looks are so much easier to come by for Wemby.
Absolutely.
It's just, and if we're going to continue with this Jeremy experiment, that's going to fall back on coaching and what we've done with the roster, and that ultimately preventing Wemby from, reaching his full rookie year potential in terms of stats.
Yeah, I personally would feel bad if he doesn't get the Roy, because you're seeing him do everything he can so far this season on that court. I mean, double figure. I mean, heading into that Hawks game, he had scored 22 points consecutively. And of course, he had that record night with the 6 steals. So he's doing everything he can. Devin, is just coming back from injury. There is the Sohan thing. Their strength of schedule is rough right now. I mean, they had the Hawks last night. Up next is New Orleans tonight. I mean, it doesn't get any easier. You got the late pair of Laker games coming up soon. A 12-game losing streak also doesn't help. And for as much as if Vegas is looking at the team play, I mean, you'd think there'd be some sort of handicap. Say, okay, well, if I'm a Vegas oddsmaker, I'm thinking, okay, well, Chet does have SGA. He does have a roster. The Spurs are still trying to get this motor running. But, yeah, I expected, though, Jack, the race for the Roy, with Vegas odds, to kind of go up and down. I mean, we saw it spike with Wemby. Now it's spiking with Chet. I'm confident that it's going to, once again, swing back to Wemby. You would think that's going to happen, right?
Yeah, I think it'll definitely swing back to Wemby. All it really will take is him stringing together a couple of really good games in a row, and the hype train will be back on, the Wemby tracks, and it'll swing right back his way. It's going to be an up and down thing all year, especially if we're not consistently winning games. It seems like that is the bar for who could potentially win it is the win-loss column.
You know what this reminds me of? When DeJounte Murray was on that cusp of making All-Star. And remember Popovich himself, he said that our record is probably not helping DeJounte get in. Now, Draymond did, ultimately give his seat up for DeJounte. But, I hope that's not a similar situation. Look, he's going to be at the All-Star game where it's going to be the rising stars are on the squad. So they'll have that on his belt. There's your quick race for the Roy update. As of right now, it's Chet leading the charge. Not in all odds makers websites, but in the majority of them, he's now overtaken Wemby. Hopefully, Wemby can swing back on up. I think the Thunder, they do play 3 more times this year. So Wemby would definitely have a chance to shine versus Chet. And hopefully the Spurs can beat Chet and the Thunder in the next time they meet. Coming up next, we're going to do some Spurs news and notes. We're going to have fun with Jack. We're going to ask him if he's building his Spurs-themed Christmas tree, what Spurs-themed ornaments would he expect you to have on your Christmas tree, including some very creative and outside-the-box thoughts. That's coming up next right here on Locked On Spurs.
This is Emily Swallow, and you are listening to Locked On Spurs with Jeff Garcia.
You want to go to gametime.co right now, everyone. Look, you shouldn't have to worry about when you're buying tickets to your next big event. Game Time is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater events near you. They got killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, the best price guarantee. Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying tickets. Look, you get the lowest price guarantee, event cancellation, job loss protection. They got you covered only at gametime.co. Flash deals, zone deals, tickets for every kind of event in your arena. Look, you want to see the view from your seat before you buy, so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive. The all-in prices show your total up front, so you know what you're getting, a great deal without hidden fees. Buy tickets in seconds with just 2 taps. Zone deals. You pick the section. Game Time picks the seats for an average of 18% savings. And the Game Time guarantee means you'll always get the best price. If you find tickets in the same section or row for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Download the Game Time app right now. Create an account. Use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, the lowest price guaranteed. Also, I want to talk about Mudslingers Drive-Thru Coffee. Go to Mudslingers Drive-Thru Coffee right now, San Antonio, 2404 Thousand Oaks Drive. That's in the 281 and 1604 area. Servicing the San Antonio community for so long. They're a proud local sponsor of Locked On Spurs, and they got you covered when it comes to beverages. They got dairy alternatives, the Red Bull infused Lightning Bolt series, the Alien, which is a hat tip to Victor Wembanyama, full can of Red Bull, kiwi, green apple, very good. They have the signature drink called the Mudslinger. We also have the OG OJ. That's the Orange Julius recreated only at Mudslingers Drive-Thru Coffee. They have the Sub-Zero. That's a hat tip to UTSA's Frank Harris. Look, they got it all over at Mudslingers. Open every day, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Over 300 5-star reviews cannot be wrong. No way they're wrong. Friendly staff, great service, great menu, everything you need in one stop to get your day going or keep your day going on, only at Mudslingers Drive-Thru Coffee. Find them on social media on X, Threads, Spotify, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. The list goes on and on at Mudslinger SATX. That is all one word. Go to Mudslingers Drive-Thru Coffee, San Antonio, 2404 Thousand Oaks Drive. Hey, life is too short for bland coffee.
Hey guys, this is Jason David Frank, the Green Ranger, and you are listening to Locked On Spurs with Jeff Garcia. It's morphin' time.
And we're back right here on Locked On Spurs with Jack Thompson, formerly of San Antonio Sports Star. Make sure to follow him on X, Jack_Thompson33. Again, he's not a Knicks fan. That's not a Knicks t-shirt. I thought it was.
New York brand, but
okay.
Not a Knicks shirt.
Knicks thing, yeah, exactly. What's the hat? What team is that?
It's not a team. It's just a brand. Yeah, just.
You know what I thought it was? The Wolverines, the Michigan Wolverines.
Oh no, you'd never catch me in that. Never. You see me in Knicks gear before that.
Yeah. And hey, thanks for making Locked On Spurs your first listen each and every day. You guys are the everydayers. So let's go and catch you up with some Spurs news that you might have missed. Hey, congrats to Doug McDermott. His Creighton jersey will be retired soon. I believe next month. I think it's going to be even special for him because his dad is the head coach.
The head coach,
Creighton, yeah. And
for those that don't know and have not seen, go look up some Doug McDermott Creighton highlights. Ooh. This dude was National Player of the Year, consecutive All-Americans. Like, he was incredible in college and has completely changed his game, which is insane.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he started his career. What in Chicago? Is that who drafted him, or is it Indiana? Who
I think
drafted
it was
him?
Indiana.
It was Indiana. Okay, yeah, I know he made a stop at Chicago, and then, but nevertheless, hey, kudos to Doug. He kept it low key during practice yesterday. Tried to downplay it. Apparently, they were going to retire his jersey way before this upcoming date, but due to scheduling conflict, he could not make it happen. Nevertheless, it finally happened, though. But can you imagine getting prime McBuckets in the Spurs uniform?
Oh man, dude! Like I said, Doug in college, they call him Doug McBuckets for a reason. This man, I think his senior year, averaged like 27 points a game.
Goodness.
Like he was literally unstoppable.
Exactly.
Literally unstoppable.
So again, congratulations to Doug McDermott. Hey, it wouldn't be San Antonio without hot sauce. They kind of go together like peanut butter and jelly. Spurs did announce a new Spurs theme hot sauce. Yes, you heard that right. It's in conjunction with a place called Humble House, and it's called, no shocker here, the Por Vida Spurs hot sauce. So it's now available. The price is a little bit steep, though, Jack. I wasn't expecting that. It is $10 a bottle. It's now available at the Frost, and if you're there, go pick it up. Are you a hot food eater, Jack?
Oh yeah, love spicy food. Definitely.
How much spicy can you go? Like, do you have a tolerance limit where you're like, you know what, this is pushing it?
I'll push it till I find it.
For real?
I'm not afraid to go in on some spicy food.
Dang.
I'll add jalapenos or hot sauce or sriracha to just about anything.
So when we're gonna get the Jack Thompson Por Vida hot sauce review?
Next time, let me know when you want me on next, and I'll get some and I'll try it, and we'll review.
I obviously I'm going to be going to the next home game, so maybe I'll pick a bottle, ship it to you or whatever. You're there, I'll give it to you, and then we'll bring you back on, and we'll do a live recorded test run with that. Again, the Por Vida Spurs hot sauce is now available. If you get it, let us know what you think of it. You can let Jack know on X at Jack_Thompson33. And he's back. You see, he took some hot sauce right now. He had to get a quick drink of milk just to play up the fact that he can handle it.
A glitch in the Matrix just now. I'm not sure what happened.
Exactly. So that Spurs hot sauce is available now. And finally, the Spurs, in conjunction with Methodist Hospital, took part in the Methodist Hospital Christmas tree giveaway a couple of days ago on the south side of San Antonio. Kudos to the Spurs, Methodist. Really helped the south side of San Antonio families, free Christmas trees, fully decorated. Jack, even some had secret in envelopes with gift cards in it. That's so awesome. If you happen to get one, you looked it up, it could have been like maybe $100 gift certificate or something like that. So if you got lucky, there was a Taylor Swift theme Christmas tree.
Oh, nice. Yeah. My girlfriend would have been all about that.
It didn't go fast. It was like probably towards the middle wave that came in where it finally went. But Charles Bassey and Malachi Branham went out there. They pitched in. Malachi was having fun. He did some arts and crafts with some kids. But Bassey, Jack, really took it to heart because, for those who don't know, he actually grew up his teenage years in San Antonio at St. Anthony's High School. Mm-hmm. And I found out that he was a late addition, that Malachi was the guy they're going to go with. He said he'll do it. But I was told that Bassey found out, and he said, what's wrong with y'all? I want to go to this. Why? Because he told me in a nutshell that San Antonio is his city.
Yeah.
He wants to go out for them. And for all those years, they supported him since he was 14 years old. Mm-hmm. So kudos to Bassey, kudos to the Spurs, the Methodist Hospital, everybody involved. It was a great turnout. The community CEO director of the Spurs, Dr. Kara, she showed up there. She was a former guest right here on Locked On Spurs. So it was a great time for the Spurs. Everything. That article you can read right now is at kansas5.com/Spurs, but leads us to our game because Malachi, Jack, said that he has a Christmas tree. It's not fully decorated. Then he looked to the 160 Christmas trees that were for free. He said, you know what? I think I might have to get some ornaments. So give me 3 Spurs theme ornaments that Spurs fans should have hanging on the Christmas tree. You could think outside of the box. So, for example, this is an example. Jack can't use this one. maybe a battleship to represent David Robinson, the Admiral. So take it away, Jack. Give me 3. What 3 you got?
Well, first you gotta go find yourself a Larry O'Brien. You gotta get a Larry O'Brien.
Nice.
Hang that up on the tree.
Nice.
Second, maybe find yourself a little UFO.
Okay.
Represent our alien, our new alien Wemby.
Yeah.
And then let's see. Lastly, I would say when you gave me the rundown for the show, I was looking it up and I saw this really cool ornament that was on eBay. It was like a miniature old school, like, the wooden box televisions that had the little turn dials on it.
Yeah.
It was like that, but it was all like Spurs themed and it had the Spurs logo on the screen. I thought that was pretty sick. So if you could get your hands on one of those, that'd be pretty awesome too.
They're awesome. All right, here are mine. Jack, I'm going to see if you can figure this one out. A stick. That's it. Just a sponge.
It's got to be Wemby.
It's got to be Wemby.
Got to be Wemby.
Just a stick. Because you would want people to look at your Christmas tree and be like, why do you got a stick on your tree?
Random stick.
Yeah. Or maybe put a stick with the Spurs jersey on it.
That'd
draw it on
even
there.
Better. Or if you can find a Slender Man ornament, that would be sick.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, and you know what? You better get on that. I think that would sell.
Yeah.
A Slender Man jersey. Like, maybe don't put the Slender Man in the Spurs jersey, leave him in, because he wears a suit, right?
He went all black suit. Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe put the Spurs logo on there somewhere. And
that would be, honestly, that would sell like hotcakes.
No, for real, it would sell. Another one, I don't know if I'm pushing it with this one. Maybe I am. How about a mic with fire coming out of it?
A mic with fire coming out of it.
This was tough, and maybe I'm not describing it right. It is going to be tough, so I'll save you some time here to represent Pop's fire mic moment.
Oh man, don't even get me started on that.
Where do you stand with that?
What are you doing, Pop? Like, what happened to you? What happened to the coach that I saw cussing out a 19-year-old Tony Parker on the sideline?
Yeah. That was a surreal moment. I was there for that game, and I remember I was standing up at the time because the media seats are not that comfortable, and I remember I was doing like this.
Yeah, I had to pause it and go back and rewatch it. I was like, did this really just happen?
Yeah.
That was a very, very odd moment.
Yeah, so that one how would you make it more obvious but not obvious? Like if you have an ornament, because with like a stick, he would want people to be like, well, why does the stick have a Spurs jersey? Well, it's Wemby. 5 titles, Larry O'Brien's, why 5, that. I can only think of is maybe put a beard on it, like a pop beard.
Yeah, pop beard.
A clipboard next to it, maybe.
Some wine next to it.
That's it. Bingo, you're done. That's it. Put a wine bottle next to it. And then finally, what would be my third out of the box, or just, you know what? I'll go with a classic. What about just an empty ice chair? Yeah. That's it. Just ornament.
The ice throne.
But it's the ice throne.
Yeah.
That'd be a good one.
Iconic right there.
Yeah, exactly. Iconic. Yeah. I don't know, maybe your dad might have it, but I still have that Gervin 70s poster tucked away.
Dang, that's awesome.
Classic one. Yeah, it's still rolled up in a tube, though.
Yeah, don't ever unroll it. And if you do, frame it immediately.
Or you're like, if you do, send it my way. I'll take care of it.
I'll frame it.
Frame it. He is Jack Thompson, formerly with San Antonio Sports Star. Make sure to follow him on X at Jack_Thompson33. And he'll chat your ear off on X, everything about sports, Spurs, football. Anime. By the way, at the rate the Spurs, anime, exactly. By the way, I'm wearing this because I knew you were going to show up. Thanks for making Locked On Spurs your first listening each and every day. Free and available wherever you get podcasts, Google Play, iTunes, Spotify, KenSpy Plus app. I mean, the list goes on and on. No reason for you to not find Locked On Spurs and tune in each and every day. We'll be back next week to talk more about your Spurs, look at the games ahead, and probably more Wemby talk. Hopefully the race for the Roy tightens up a bit. Maybe that'll be something to talk about. But you know what? We can't let go of Jack Thompson without bringing him back. There we go. But For, there he is, Jack Thompson. Again, follow him on X at Jack_Thompson33. I am Jeff Garcia. We're going to put a lock in this episode of Locked On Spurs.